So, Sir, Bhagavad-gītā 10.14, Sarvam etad vritam manye yanmam vadasi keshava nahi te bhagavan vyaktim vidur devana danavaha. Translation: O Krishna, I totally accept as truth all that you have told me. Neither the demigods nor the demons, O Lord, can understand your personality. So, after glorifying in 10.12 and 13, Arjuna is further adding, I totally accept all that as accept as truth, all that you have told me. Neither the demigods nor the demons, O Lord, can understand personality, your personality. So absolute truth. It's not easy. So Bhagavad Gita 10.15. Swam evatmana atmanam Vetha Tvam Purushottama Bhuta Bhavana Bhutesha Deva Deva Jagatpate. Translation: Indeed, you alone know yourself by your own internal potency. O Supreme Person, origin of all, Lord of all beings, God of gods, Lord of the universe. Further, when Arjuna has shared his realization. So, yeah. So this is right after the Chatushloki Bhagavad Gita, the previous four shlokas, 10.8 to 11. That is Chatushloki, the principal verses of Bhagavad Gita. Um, so here, further to this, um, uh, so His Grace Chaitanya Charan Prabhu has given wonderful discourse on these verses. I'll just use those details. Um, so the Chatushloki Bhagavad Gita, they give essence of Bhagavad Gita based on the context and the content. So Prabhu says that the context has come after how Lord Krishna said, he'll speak Param Vachaha, the supreme words, and Arjuna gives his conclusive understanding after that. And so this is like kind of like a unit test. I mean, immediately whatever detail Lord has given himself, Arjuna has heard it, and Arjuna is giving details as to what his realization is, what his understanding is about all these. So he's after Lord's supreme words, Arjuna is giving his understanding, what the conclusion, his understanding. So content is as it covers the three things as we know in Bhakti Yoga, Sambandha, Avideya, Prayojana. What is our relationship? How do we serve? What is our service? What is the process? How do we serve in that relationship? Who we are and what Lord is, and the ultimate goal, the prema, Prayojana. So yeah, so these three things. So it shows how jnana. I mean, we have come across so many things, bhakti, and then we have heard so many times jnana, kind of like jnana as a word. I mean, when it comes to bhakti, a lot of times we have said do bhakti, and then we have come across where it says jnana yoga, and then it is kind of looked down upon. But here, the jnana is like part of bhakti. So we have also heard that um, in Srimad Bhagavatam, where Bhakti Devi, it is said that Gyan and Vairagya are like children of Bhakti Devi, right? Consort of the Lord, Bhakti Devi. And Bhakti Devi is endeavoring us to connect us, the lost souls, with Lord Himself, Lord Krishna, Lord Vishnu. So through medium of so although Gyan and Vairagya are not, so bhakti is actually not dependent on Gyan and Vairagya, but considering that if you take to bhakti, if you are practicing bhakti, devotional service, and if you don't, after practicing it, if we don't reach a level where you have some jnana about bhakti or Lord and who we are and our relationship and all that, then it seems, then it should be understood that we have not actually progressed much. So we have to have that realization. We have to have some knowledge, understanding what is this, who we are, what is Lord, what is our relationship, and what is the process, what is the ultimate goal. We don't have to know voluminous scriptures and all that, but at least some basic understanding, our realization as we progress. Krishna himself says that he reciprocates accordingly, depending on the steps we take, endeavor we make. Lord Krishna reciprocates accordingly, according to our bhava, according to our realization, according to our endeavor, according to our effort, all that. And so bhakti is not dependent on jnana and vairagya, but there has to be some, at least some level as we progress, some jnana, some vairagya. So vairagya, when we say renunciation, it is like we are leaving, we are detaching from what is material and we are attaching to what is spiritual. And how do we do that? We are actually not abandoning anything material we have, with the realization, with the knowledge that everything is part and parcel of the Lord. Now, whatever situation we are in, whatever assets we have, whatever skills we have, we use all that for the service of the Lord. After all energies, all potencies are um, belonging to the Lord. So even material energy, which we say we are in this illusory world, whatever assets, whatever material objects, whatever things we have earned, whatever we have inherited, whatever we have, whatever assets we get to whatever. So we understanding, having this basic knowledge that this is also potency of Lord. This is to be used for the service of the Lord, for the betterment, um, for the progress, for our progress, for everybody's progress, for devotional service, so that everybody benefits from it. So that is how it is. So we don't abandon or shun anything. We use with the realization that this is part and parcel of the Lord. We use it for the service of the Lord, for propagation of devotional service, for bhakti movement, for whatever instructions we have from our guru. We help others also um, achieve or progress in bhakti. So, so here jnana is part of bhakti and it is an integral part, integrated into bhakti. Um, so we understand that in this world or anywhere, um, relations, for the success of any kind of relationship, the relationships we should need to understand they are all symbiotic. There is some exchange between two people or groups or individual and a group. So the relationships are symbiotic. There's some give and take. Um, so so even our relationship with the Lord, this is not mundane. This full of rasa. So understanding this knowledge, the sambandha vidya priyojana. So what is Lord? Who we are part and parcel of the Supreme Personality of God. And our Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says that our constitutional position is to that we are eternally servant of the Lord, of Lord Krishna, and thus we should serve in that realization. So, so symbiotic, there is symbiotic relationship between knowledge and devotion. His Grace Chaitanya Charan Prabhu gives the detail that in 10.8, Bhagavad-gītā 10.8 shloka, it is mentioned that knowledge leads to devotion. Iti matva bhajante mam, buddha bhava samanvitaha. One who understands that Krishna is the source of everything, the ultimate reality, such a person acquires knowledge. So this is first level. This is first step when it comes to, in this context of knowledge and the connection between bhakti and knowledge. One who understands that Krishna is the source of everything, the ultimate reality. Once you have this realization, such a person acquires knowledge. So, like I mentioned earlier, Lord Krishna actually reciprocates. If you take some step, there is some progress you make. There is some uh, removal of dust from our heart, covering of ignorance is removed by the knowledge we have acquired with this realization. So, to that extent, to that Lord reciprocates, and then our ignorance is removed, and this is what the outcome is being mentioned. Such a person acquires knowledge and becomes wholehearted, devoted to me. Next step becomes, with that knowledge that Krishna is the source of everything, the ultimate reality, this knowledge, once person has this realization, this knowledge, he becomes wholehearted, devoted to me. So this is automatic, this is spontaneous. This is, this is what Krishna is doing. He's seated in our heart as Paramatma. So here, Lord Krishna is telling that knowledge will lead to devotion, further progress. Then in subsequent verses 10.10 and 11, he says devotion will lead to knowledge. Bhajatam priti purvakam dadami buddhi yogam tam. That devotion will give knowledge. So what do we understand from this? Devotion to knowledge and knowledge to devotion. Right? So, like I said, there is all relationships are symbiotic. So you take some steps in devotional service, bhakti, and you get some knowledge with the realization. And with that knowledge, you get further devotion. You proceed further. So that's like step by step. So what comes first? So there has to be some basic understanding about Krishna, right? Then as we render service, with that under that understanding, with that knowledge deepens further. Just like you boil milk on stove, on gas, and with time it will get condensed, concentrated. It becomes, you add some sugar, it is diluted, and all the water evaporates, and then it gets condensed. So it's like, this is what is happening. It deepens, the knowledge deepens. So knowledge increases our affection further. With that, what you there is more vigor and there is more devotion. You have further affection towards the Lord, and then you want to serve Him more, Lord Krishna. You want to serve Krishna more, and with under that affection, newly acquired affection. So then he will have greater knowledge. He will have greater knowledge. So symbiotic relationship between the two. This knowledge which Lord Krishna is talking about both in the beginning and in the end has nothing to do with impersonal jnana. So when we say the people who practice Brahmjyoti realization or impersonal realization, um, this is not that jnana. This is jnana related to bhakti, but that which is favorable for bhakti. This is more like we are reading Srimad Bhagavatam and Bhagavad-gītā, and we are getting knowledge from the scripture related to Bhakti Yoga, and we are talking knowledge related to glorification of the Lord, and how the devotees or acharyas, they share their experiences, how teachers like Narada Muni, they have shared their instructions, their realizations, their glorification. So we learn from that, and that helps. That is the jnana we are talking about. Then the second knowledge he is talking about is Dadami Buddhi Yogam Tam Yena Mam Upayanti Te. This is also knowledge which enables one to come closer to Lord Krishna. So this is bhakti. So this is favorable for bhakti. So bhakti yoga integrates within it jnana, but it is not dependent on jnana. So bhakti yoga is independent of jnana yoga. So, but it is also incorporates jnana within itself, right? So, like I mentioned earlier, jnana and viragya, bhakti devi is not dependent on jnana and viragya, but it is things which are favorable. As we progress, if we will get some jnana and vairagya. This is automatic. And this is what we are talking about. Jnana here is that which is favorable for bhakti. So in fact, all the processes of yoga depend on bhakti yoga. So when we are studying Bhagavad-gītā, we are not following process of that jnana yoga, which we spoke of, impersonal realization. There are three types of realization: impersonal, and then we have localized Paramatma realization, and then we have Bhagwan realization. We are talking about Bhagwan realization, the complete realization. But it is, so we know the limbs of bhakti where we say Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu, Smaranam, Pada Sevanam, Arshanam, Vandanam, Dasyam, Sakyam, Atma, Nivedanam. So we are talking about that. So this is bhakti. So our process is, so our purpose is Lord Krishna. Our process is also Lord Krishna, and the source is also Lord Krishna. Our destination is Lord Krishna. Our goal is Lord Krishna. So jnana of impersonal Brahman is, we say that it is not favorable for bhakti realization. But jnana of Bhagwan is favorable for bhakti. So Arjuna is saying, Param Brahma, you are the supreme Brahma. Mayavadi and impersonalists, His Grace Chaitanya Chara Prabhu says that Mayavadi and impersonalists are very fond of speaking Vedic aphorisms such as Aham Brahmasmi, which is true. We are Brahman. This is considered Mahavakya of Upanishad from Shankaracharya. Also, it is not Aham. So it is not Aham Param Brahmasmi. It is simply Aham Brahma. So there is a difference. Beyond Aham Brahmasmi, there is higher reality, and that reality is Lord Krishna. So we are part and parcel of that, but we are not the absolute truth. We are not the whole sum total. We're just part of that absolute truth, of that sum total. We are infinitesimal part. So, so Krishna is complete reality. He is absolute truth. Who is Param Brahma? That is Lord Krishna. So that is how it is. In Brahma, also there is diversity or levels amidst unity. So Param Dhama. So next one is Param Dhama. You are the supreme abode. And in the ninth chapter, it is said that Mats Asthani Sarve Bhutani. In one sense, everything resides on him, Lord Krishna. He's maintaining everything in the universe. He's not burdened by that. Like us, we do something heavy duty, some task, and then we are burdened. We feel we can only do it for certain um, hours or some time or years, then we are feel exhausted. So, but that is not the case with Lord Krishna. Things happen just by his will. So he's also supreme abode for our heart's aspirations. So Pavitram Paramam Bhavan. You are the purest and the greatest, and we are contaminated. We are contaminated with various sins, but transcendence is not contaminated. Um, so he is a supreme being. Bhavan is respectful address of Lord Krishna. Purusham Shashvatam Divyam Adi Devam Ajam Vibhum. Purusha is very clear personalist reference that Lord Krishna is a person, a Purusha, is a personality. He has a form, he has a body, spiritual form. You are Shashvatam. So it is not that from impersonal um, light, some temporary person is manifested. No, that is not the case. Lord Krishna is eternal. His body, his form is all spiritual, eternally existing. In fact, Brahma Jyoti is the source. He is the source of Brahma Jyoti, and everything else, even localized Paramatma, plenary, it is plenary expansion, and we are tiny, infinitesimal part and parcel of him. He is source of everything in this universe, everywhere. The Divyam, you are Shashvatam Divyam, and you are my Lord, and you, my Lord, are transcendental. And in 9.2, Lord Krishna is saying, Krishna has said, Aham hi Adi Devanam Maharishinam. So here Arjuna is saying, yes, you are Adi Devam. There are many gods, demigods, but you are the source of all demigods. In 9.3, Lord Krishna has referred himself as Aja. Here, Lord Arjuna is confirming the same thing. Vibhum, you are great. Anu refers to Jiva, tiny, minute. So, and Vibhum referred to here is for the Lord. So, this is the glorification by Arjuna. And this is based on whatever he has understood, whatever he has heard so far, his realization, and he's sharing it. So these are the instructions for us also. This will help us progress. Um, so Arjuna also emphasizes that it is not just me who is saying it. It is all the great authorities like Lord Narada Muni. They say the same thing, Lord Vyasadev. So they have said the same thing, and now you are saying the same thing. Um, so Krishna is the absolute truth, and when he's speaking of something while speaking in philosophy, then we take it as a absolute authority because Lord Krishna is the absolute truth. He is the absolute authority. So he's source of knowledge. Even the great sages have learned from him, from his scriptures. So there is a disciplic succession for learning. So scriptural evidence and personal experience both are important, and when both are combined together, then the conviction becomes very deep. So this is what his Arjuna underwent. So Lord Krishna gave him detail of Bhagavad-gītā, and then he had his personal experiences and he shared it. So then his faith, his conviction is further deepened. So that is how it is. So experiences in Bhakti Yoga verifiable, repeatable, and in general sense, predictable. So once you hear, um, and then you realize, and then your realization will be very similar to what the sages have said. Yes, that is how it is. Krishna is the source of everything. He is absolute truth. He is the origin of all. He is the cause of all causes. So that is how it is. So next, there are two different points in the next verse, where he says, first is, "O Lord, I accept that what you say. I also acknowledge that it is not easy to understand you." So when we accept Krishna, is not that we have to understand everything that Krishna, what Krishna has said. There will be something which we will not be able to understand, right? So we might not understand. It is understandable that we might not understand everything. Um, but that doesn't mean we cross question or we say it is wrong just because we didn't understand it. So here, His Grace Chaitanya Charan Prabhu says that rather than saying it is false, we suspend the judgment about it. Certain things require purification in us to understand to understand them. So we suspend judgment about it. So this is how scriptures or spiritual knowledge is to be accepted or realized. We don't say what we don't understand that it is false, but it is coming from the scriptures, from a guru. We just, if we don't understand it, we just um, suspend the judgment. We don't have a wrong opinion. We don't want to have a wrong opinion about it. We just put it on hold what we didn't understand, rather than saying it is false, it is wrong, like that. We just suspend our judgment, our opinion. And then we understand that the reason we don't understand is because it requires further purification to understand. We didn't understand. So then once we purify, following the process, then we can understand and progress further. So accept what you said, but even devtas cannot understand it. You see, even our administrators who are running this universe, administering this universe, sanctioning things, even they cannot understand Lord Krishna completely. And Srila Prabhupada has given this detail. So, for example, His Grace Chaitanya Prabhu says that if a patient, if a patient goes to a doctor, or he says, "But I'm not taking the treatment." Why? Because I don't find any doctor who agrees with my diagnosis. So that would be wrong. The doctor is best judge to do the diagnosis. We don't want to have opinion, um, our own judgment, our own diagnosis. That can be a unhealthy thing to do. So that is how it is. So how can we know the Gita's meaning, confidential meaning we are talking about? So we can refer to Shloka 18.6 is the Gita's message itself. This is clear instruction given. So there are many paths talked about, but this is the conclusion. So Lord Krishna talks about so many bhakti yogas, and then he gives his own conclusion. So we just accept that. So a teacher can teach student at various levels, but at the end, that he teaches the conclusion. A teacher says, "Whatever I taught, forget about it." Then, and this is what I want you to do. So, like Arjuna says, okay, he has learned about so many yogas. Okay, he will say, "Just tell me what is the best." So when Krishna tells him the best, he should accept what he is saying is this is the best. There should not be any doubt about it. So check the understanding of the original student, 10.12 to 4. So we can also see what student has understood so far. Because if student's understanding is wrong, then the teacher would have corrected the understanding. So here Arjuna gave his understanding. Because now if Arjuna were wrong in his understanding, in his conclusion, Lord Krishna would have corrected him. And then, um, this is what Arjuna would have shared. But that is not the case. Whatever he has said is correct. Next is check the actions of the original student, 18.72. He works in the mood of devotion. And like in Mahabharata, he further, after he receiving these instructions of Bhagavad-gītā, he actually went and fought the war as per the instructions of Lord Krishna. So, so, so we know the conclusion, what happened. So from this, we understand that conclusion that Lord Krishna is absolute truth, and devotional service to him is the best means to achieve that absolute truth. Right? So this is the conclusion. Um, 18.66. If contradictory statements are present in a conversation or a book, then how do you resolve it? So His Grace Chaitanya Prabhu says that normal logic, later statements are given precedence over earlier statements. Irrefutable logic, later statements reject the earlier statements. And this is what 18.66 does. So as Arjuna is receiving knowledge step by step, it's progressive. He has received so many different types of yoga systems and finally Bhakti Yoga. So we understand that not that previous yogas were bad, but Bhakti Yoga is the best. So later statements, which is when it gets to know about the most confidential knowledge, Bhakti Yoga, the later statements are given precedence over the earlier statements, which are steps on which the next step is built. So it is progressive in manner. Irrefutable logic, later statements reject the earlier statements, and then clearly, if the later statements are clearly reject the previous statements, then you accept, then you understand that. So this is what 18.66 does. And where in the next sloka, Swam Evatmana Atmanam, you alone know your glories. So when he says that even Devas, the demigods, don't know you completely. So they cannot glorify you completely. So, but you yourself know your own glories. You are perfect. So when Arjuna says that, so this is how it is. So Krishna has told from his side that Veda Aham Samate Tani. I know everything. Arjuna is saying you are Purushottama. You alone know your glories, and he gave various descriptions. Bhuta Bhavana Bhutesha Deva Deva Jagatpate. So Arjuna glorifies Lord Krishna. Purushottama, he uses this word. Bhuta Bhavana. You are the source of all living beings, which Krishna himself has talked in Bhagavad-gītā several times. Bhutesha, you are the controller of all living beings. Deva Deva, you are God of all gods. So, Jagat Pate, master of the universe. So, you are the best among all persons, and not only best among all persons, actually, you are the source of all persons, right? Which is very rightly said. Not just source of all persons, he further goes, he says, but actually, you are controller of all persons, right? And so, people have different realizations. Some realize that he is the best among all persons, and then some further realize that um, you are the source of all. You are also the source of all persons. Not only you are the best among all persons, but you are the source of all persons. And some even have further knowledge, and they have further realization that not only this, you are even the controller of all the persons. Not only source of all persons, not only you are the best of all among all persons, you are the controller of all persons. And so we know that demigods are also controllers, but then you are the controller of all, even the controller of demigods. And actually, you are the one who empower the demigods to control others, subordinate. Um, so you're the god of all gods. Even the gods, the demigods worship you, seek your help in their administration of the universe. You are the Deva Deva. Then you are the Jagatpate. You are the master of the whole universe. So this is Arjuna's realization, his glorification. Um, so important thing is we when we are in doubt as we progress in getting knowledge, spiritual knowledge, whether you're getting it from guru or some shloka recitation happening, some discourse, or you're reading scriptures yourself, and if you're not able to understand, then you should know that there's nothing wrong with the scripture or the person who's giving instruction. Actually, we, according to our qualification till then, or purification till then, we are able to comprehend the scripture or the knowledge. In order to be able to receive knowledge which we are not able to comprehend at that moment, we need to purify ourselves. So we follow the process of devotional service, like um, whole bhakti yoga scriptures, the steps, Shravanam, Kirtanam, we just follow all that and then have faith in that because faith is the beginning, the minimum qualification, the prerequisite to start in bhakti. So, and then we will progress, following the rules and regulation, and then um, we'll be able to comprehend the knowledge. So, but we should not at any time have say it's false or it's wrong. Just have the right mindset and um, understand that we need to have some purification. Maybe we are not doing things completely properly. We are not following all the rules, and then we take help and instructions, and then we know that okay, this is where we lack, and then we have this realization, and then we'll be able to comprehend this knowledge, this what we were not able to understand earlier. Um, so this is how it is, but we should not stop either. We should continue and will progress ultimately. So this is how it is, and acharyas are given the same scriptures, same instructions, and this is the process is to develop our love for the God. This is our goal. Then, according to the purification, we will go progress and progress further. So, so thank you, Prabhuji Mataji. Thanks for joining. Please join again tomorrow and for further instructions on these shlokas. Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhuji Mataji. Thanks.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam.
Dandavat Pranam. So if anybody has any question, please let me know.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.